Hello, good morning. This is TVRI News, bringing you the latest news and information from around the world. I'm Handewi Pramesti, and please take a look at today's headlines.
A monitoring team of the Joint Security Committee from the Handewi Center will be positioned in 7 regions in Aceh Darussalam Province. Jakarta Chief of Police Makbul Patmanegara said that police are intensely investigating the assault case on Makassar Police Office, East Jakarta. A car bomb explodes in the north of Paris early on Wednesday, killing the driver and injuring 5 people nearby in what appears to be a criminal attack.
Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Monitoring teams of the Handewi Center Joint Security Committee, totaling 54 members, are in place in 7 regions of Nanggro Aceh Darussalam Province. Their presence is to monitor the peace agreement between the Indonesian government and the Free Aceh Movement, or GAM.
The Handewi Center Head of Public Relations Fahmi Yunus told reporters in Banda Aceh yesterday that the monitoring team was scheduled to be in place and on duty starting from Wednesday. Earlier, from Takengon, the capital of Central Aceh, there was a report of a riot by thousands of people at the Joint Security Committee office and 3 committee vehicles burned. 2 members of the committee were severely injured in the riot. The remaining 7 uninjured members of the team were being withdrawn to Banda Aceh until there has been a complete investigation into the rioting. The 2 injured Joint Security Committee members are Fahmi Husaini, a representative of the Free Aceh Movement representative, and Major Edi Yatma of the Indonesian Police. Both are hospitalized under intensive care in Banda Aceh. Fahmi Yunus says that following an investigation of the riot by the committee, the evacuated member will return Takengon, including replacement for the 2 injured. The monitoring teams are placed in 7 regions of Aceh, where conflicts are easily triggered. In North Aceh, East Aceh, South Aceh, Aceh Besar, West Aceh, PD, and beyond.
Commander of the Army General Endriartono Sutarto says that the Free Aceh Movement, or GAM, has been violating the peace agreement in the Takengon region of Central Aceh.
This was said by General Endriartono at a press conference following a coordination meeting on political and security affairs held in Jakarta yesterday. He accuses GAM of frequently blackmailing and kidnapping civilians and says their purpose is to raise funds for their operations. General Endriartono said that he considers this a matter for concern, whether GAM is really committed to carrying out the peace agreement. The Armed Forces Commander also said that the police has discussed with the Joint Security Committee to withdraw committee members from the region temporarily until the situation is once again under control.
Jakarta Chief of Police Makbul Patmanegara said that police are investigating the assault on the Makassar District Police Office in East Jakarta.
Briefing the press, Inspector General Makbul Patmanegara said that it is currently still unknown whether the attackers or attacker were civilian or military. The assault of the Makassar District Police Office in East Jakarta on Tuesday midnight, resulting in the killing of a police officer, Salmon Panjaitan, of the Police 1st Brigade. Police still have not determined the identity of the person or persons responsible. The evidence of a green raincoat found at the scene is not sufficient to identify a perpetrator as an army officer or to determine the motive behind the attack. Inspector General Patmanegara said that the police discussed this case with military police in the early hours following the incident. No one has been detained, and police have questioned a cigarette and noodle vendors nearby. Inspector General Patmanegara emphasized that the guilty party or parties will face justice.
Cooperation between the Indonesian police and the police of East Timor is being increased to prevent criminals from escaping from arrest by fleeing across the border.
This was said by Belu Region Atambua Police Commissioner Agus Nugroho at Atambua, NTT Province yesterday. He explained that increased operations is necessary as a preventative and anticipatory measure as there is current increase in the number of transnational crimes at the border areas of the two countries. He said that there are now frequent cases of robbery in East Nusa Tenggara, where the perpetrator then illegally crosses the border to East Timor to avoid arrest. He mentioned a recent case of the murder of an ojek driver, Romanus Yokuil, in Motamuruk village in Belu, East Nusa Tenggara. The suspect attempted to escape over the East Timor border, but due quick reaction from the Indonesian police and the assistance of East Timor's police, the perpetrator was arrested. Police Commissioner Agus Nugroho said that quick response by peace officers in the Belu regions is a necessity in criminal cases. He added that the police are also coordinating with East Timor Police Headquarters on criminal fugitives from Indonesia who are known to be hiding in East Timor.
Former Armed Forces Commander Wiranto said he deeply regrets that certain parties are continuing to accuse him, the army and the police of post-referendum violence in East Timor. He added that if the army and the police had deceitful intentions at the time, then East Timor would never have achieved its freedom.
Retired Armed Forces Commander Wiranto has once more provided testimony concerning the situation in East Timor before and after the referendum. Appearing before a hearing of Commission 1 of the House of Representatives in Jakarta yesterday, Wiranto stated that the armed forces and the police did everything they could to secure the situation in East Timor at the time. He said it would be naive if certain groups were to continue to spread false accusation that the Indonesian army and police committed atrocities against the people of East Timor. Wiranto firmly denies that the army or police had destroyed or burnt property in East Timor following the referendum. He went on to say that the police and armed forces had sacrificed themselves in ensuring that the UN-sponsored referendum was successfully accomplished. Meanwhile, Commission 1 Deputy Chairperson Ananta Baharudin said that the security arrangements carried out in East Timor were in accordance with standard procedures, and as a representative of the peoples, he would not allow that the rights of citizens are interfered by certain political interests.
And now from France. A booby-trapped car exploded in the north of Paris early on Wednesday, killing the driver and injuring 5 people nearby in what appeared to be a criminal attack, police said.
The explosion occurred at around 8 a.m. local time on Wednesday in a van parked on a road near the Paris Ring Road. The blast injured the 5 people nearby and damaged several parked cars, police and fire brigade officials said. The driver, a 55-year-old man identified as René Chalon, died when his car exploded as he started it on André Boucher Street. A police spokesman said the case was being treated as a criminal attack. The victim, who ran a security firm, had a criminal record, police said. Nothing indicates for the moment that it is a terrorism affair. Investigators are considering it a common criminal act, the spokesman said.
President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo has said the Philippines will not allow U.S. troops to fight Muslim rebels, a day after a powerful bomb at the southern airport killing 21 people, including an American.
The Philippines will not allow U.S. troops to go into combat against Muslim rebels, President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo said on Wednesday, a day after a bomb at a southern airport killed 21 people, including an American. The death toll from the bomb, which tore into dozens of people huddled in an airport shelter during a downpour as they waited for arriving friends and relatives, rose to 21 when an 18-year-old man died of his wounds on Wednesday, doctors said. Police said 114 people were wounded, several dozens of them seriously by shreds of metals and glass. This is the worst attack in 2 years. President Arroyo met grieving families in Davao, talked to survivors and laid a flower in a shallow crater blown into the concrete floor of the shelter. There were other blasts, raising fears of a spate of attacks. An hour after Tuesday's blast, another bomb went off outside a health center in the nearby town of Tagum, killing 1 person and wounding 3. A small homemade bomb exploded but caused no casualties at a grocery store in Cotabato, about 170 kilometers west of Davao. Group with links to Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda network was engaging in propaganda.
Pope John Paul II has called on people worldwide to make effort to avoid war, calling for Ash Wednesday to be a day of prayer and fasting for peace at his audience at the Vatican.
Intraprenderemo l'itinerario penitenziale verso la pace.
Pope John Paul on Wednesday called on everyone, including world leaders, to assume their responsibility and make every effort to spare humanity what he called a dramatic conflict in Iraq. The 82-year-old Pope made the appeal during his weekly general audience at the start of a special day of fasting and prayer for peace. Everyone has to knowingly assume their responsibility and make a common effort to spare humanity another dramatic conflict, he said. The Pope has called on all Catholics to observe a day of prayers and fasting in the hope of averting war. Wednesday marked the first day of the 40-day period of Lent, during which Roman Catholics are called to make some form of sacrifice, usually by giving up food for a short period. As we enter the period of Lent, we must take into account the international situation, which is buffeted by threatening tensions of war, he said. The Pope has thrust himself into the center of diplomatic activity to avert war, holding talks with the British and Spanish Prime Minister, Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister Tariq Aziz, and UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. The Pope said he wanted the first day of Lent this year to be a day against war.
And now from home, the chairperson of the General Election Commission, or KPU, Professor Nazaruddin Syamsuddin, stated the resignation of 2 commission members will not affect the work of the commission and they do not need to be replaced.
The General Election Commission chairperson said the resignation by 2 KPU members is the result of strong political pressure, the wish of political parties, and the delays in the legislature over approval of the general election law. Chairperson Professor Nazaruddin Syamsuddin said that the resignation by the 2 members is their individual right as statute under Article 18 of the general election law. In the meantime, when asked for confirmation, the 2 KPU members who resigned said that they prefer to dedicate themselves to their work as university professors. Imam Prasojo clarified that at the beginning of their appointment, during the fit and proper procedure, it was agreed by the House of Representatives that they could continue the lecture in one subject. Of the 11 KPU members, only 1 member, Anas Urbaningrum, is not a lecturer at the State University. All Electoral Commission members must relinquish any other work by 18 April 2003.
Children victims of the riots in northern Maluku who have been accommodated at the Rumah Sejahtera orphanage in Ternate North, Maluku were visited President's political party, PDIP, and members of the cabinet and legislature to observe first-hand conditions there.
The social conflict that occurred in 1999 in northern Maluku left grieved and bitter memories for the people of North Maluku. Many innocent children became victims of the conflict. Their face brightened at the visit of Taufik Kimas, along with a number of ministers and members of the House of Representatives. In a warm dialogue with Taufik Kimas, the 162 children with education ranging from elementary to high school talked about their lives. Taufik Kimas, who has twice visited the orphanage, said that a perpetual fund is needed to support the children. North Maluku's Governor Taib Armain said that conditions in Maluku have stabilized and the people now want peace and security and restored amity among neighbors. The Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Affairs, Rohmin Dahuri, the State Minister for East Indonesian Development Acceleration, Manuel Kaisepo, PDIP officer Cahyo Kumolo, and well-known businessman Prayogo Pangestu donated 3 television sets, 3 washing machines, library books, school supplies, uniforms and shoes, and a school bus.
The late Donovan Ardiansyah, a victim in the crash of the Robinson Raven 44 helicopter that hit the Sahijai Hotel on Tuesday afternoon, was buried yesterday at Tanah Kusir Cemetery in South Jakarta.
At 1 p.m. Western Indonesian time, under heavy rain and lightning, the late Donovan Ardiansyah was placed at his last resting place in Tanah Kusir Cemetery in South Jakarta. The wife of the deceased, Rita Pramesti, who had just arrived from the Netherlands, escorted the coffin accompanied by a friend. Ardiansyah is one of the 3 victims in the crash of a helicopter owned by PT Helizona that hit the 3rd floor of the Said Jaya Hotel on Tuesday. Tears filled widow's eyes, married to Ardiansyah just 2 years ago. The late Donovan Ardiansyah, 30 years old, was the eldest son of Arman Rahman Iskandar and working as a head chef for the Aston Hotels in Jakarta, as well as being an air taxi businessman.
An epidemic of Chikungunya disease has struck 8 provinces, including West Java. Minister of Health Ahmad Suyudi estimates that 1.6 trillion rupiah will be allocated to wipe out the Aedes aegypti mosquito, the carrier of Chikungunya disease.
At a swearing-in ceremony for Echelon 2 officials, Health Minister Suyudi asked regional and provincial government to prepare funds to establish contagious disease control centers. Purwokerto, Central Java, is an example of a region that is free of mosquito-carried disease such as chikungunya, malaria, and hemorrhagic fever. Purwokerto's success was achieved through the public actively exterminating nest of Aedes aegypti mosquitoes through draining standing waters, covering water containers, and adding abate powder to water containers. Minister Suyudi added that the victims of chikungunya disease do not become paralyzed even though they suffer intense pain in their joints and bones and high fever similar to that experienced by victims of hemorrhagic fever. There is presently no precautionary vaccine against chikungunya. According to survey data, the 8 provinces struck by this disease are West Java, Central Java, Eastern Java, Yogyakarta, Lampung, West Nusa Tenggara, and North Sulawesi.
Jakarta's Thousand Island is attracting international tourists to visit. The Indonesian archipelago is a tourist destination easily reached by sea transportation.
A sector being developed by the government is Jakarta Thousand Islands. One of these is Bira Island. Yesterday the island was visited by the cruise ship MS Europe with 240 German tourists on board. Although for some it was not their first visit, they still enjoyed the beauty of the Bira Island.
We have been here with the new ship MV Europe. I think it's the 2nd time. I've been here before also, so we knew what we can expect here, and everything is nice and they're prepared. We are really happy.
But it's very, very beautiful.
And it's about the service or facility? You know?
Oh no, environment and so on. The warm water, the sand.
I think it is wonderful. I just make a surrounding. I think it is marvelous.
The
I like
facility?
it. Huh?
How about the facility? Is enough?
Facility.
Yeah, there's a go.
The security, you think? Yeah, it is wonderful. I go by foot, it was really nice. I think it is a wonderful island.
Kema Said, the developer of the Bira Island resorts, said that although they need all the support they can get to promote tourism to the Thousand Islands, he felt that the government's efforts in this are notably low. The visit by German tourists showed that Indonesia is still their favorite tourism site. The attractiveness of the Thousand Islands was felt not just by the elderly, but also by the younger generations. The MS Europe departs from Hamburg and visits several countries besides Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam before ending its cruise in the United States.
And that concludes today's edition of TVRI News. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for more news and information. I'm Handewi Pramesti. Thank you for watching and have a good day.